This is the pre-trip section 2. Frame and cross members. Not bent, cracked, or broken. Not missing any nuts or bolts. No holes drilled. And no welds other than factory or broken welds. Drive shaft. Not bent, cracked, or broken. Couplings are secure and no foreign objects. U-joints. Not worn or loose, properly lubricated, and no missing nuts and bolts. Catwalk and steps. Not bent, cracked, or broken, no missing nuts or bolts, and clear of objects. Batteries inside the steps. Secure and all connections are tight. No signs of corrosion on the battery connections. Battery box, if the battery is in another location other than the steps. Box is not missing, cracked, or broken, and no missing nuts or bolts. Airlines. Not cut, cracked, dry rot, or bulging. No missing nuts or bolts. Properly secure, and here no leaks. Electrical lines. Electrical lines. Not cut, cracked, frayed, no exposed wires, and no signs of electrical damage, and properly secured to the tractor. The air and electrical lines are not tangled, pinched, or dragging against the tractor parts. Glad hands. Not bent, cracked, or broken, and no missing nuts or bolts. Rubber grommet. Inside the glad hands. Not cut, cracked, dry rot, or missing. Electrical plug. Firmly seated, locked in place, and no missing nuts or bolts. Trailer face and header board. Secure with no holes, cracks, bulges, or missing rivets. Spring mounts, front and back, and U-bolts. Not bent, cracked, or broken, and no missing nuts and bolts. Leaf springs. Not bent, cracked, or broken, properly aligned, and no more than 1/4 of a leaf spring missing, which would put this truck out of service. Brake hoses. Not cut, cracked, dry rot, or bulging, and here no leaks. Brake chamber. Not bent, cracked, or broken, no missing nuts or bolts, and here no leaks. Slack adjuster and push rod. Not bent, cracked, or broken, at a 90-degree angle, and with the brakes off, I should not be able to pull it more than 1 inch. And my cotter pin is intact. Brake lining. No excessive wear, and see no oil or grease. Brake drums. Not bent, cracked, or broken, see no oil or grease, and no welds other than factory. Rims, inner and outer. Not bent, cracked, or broken, and no welds other than factory. Tires. At proper inflation, checked with a pressure gauge. No cuts, cracks, dry rot, or bulging of the sidewalls. No uneven tread wear. Tread depth is no less than 2 30-seconds. Valve cap and stem are not missing, broken, or damaged. They can be recapped, retread, or mismatched. Proper space between the tires, and no debris. Lug nuts and studs. No missing lug nuts or studs, and no signs of running rust which would indicate a loose lug. Axle seal. Not bent, cracked, or broken, no missing nuts or bolts, and see no leaks. Note the mud flaps and where they are. Splash guard. Not missing, cracked, or broken, no missing nuts or bolts. Airbags mounts top and bottom, not bent, cracked, or broken, and no missing nuts or bolts. And then the airbag itself, not cut or cracked, and here no leaks. Shock absorber, not bent, cracked, or broken, no missing nuts or bolts, and see no leaks. Platform, not bent, cracked, or broken, no welds other than factory, and all mounting bolts are in place. Pivot pin, properly lubricated and secure. Fifth wheel release arm, in a locked position and no missing nuts or bolts. Sliding fifth wheel locking pins, if applicable. Pins are in the locked position and positioned properly so that the tractor frame will clear the landing gear in turns. Locking jaws, locked around the shank of my kingpin and not the head. Not bent, cracked, or broken, and no missing nuts or bolts. Kingpin, not bent, cracked, or broken. Apron and fifth wheel skid plate. No space between the fifth wheel and apron. Neither are bent, cracked, or broken. Fifth wheel is not missing any bolts and properly greased. Tail light and reflectors. All in red, not chipped, cracked, or broken, not missing any screws, rivets, or rubber seals, whichever is applicable. Landing gear. Not bent, cracked, or broken, not missing any nuts, bolts, or parts. Legs are fully raised, and no debris on feet. Crank handle, in the stowed position. Frame and cross members for the trailer. No cracks, broken welds, holes, or other damage to the frame, cross members, box, or floor. The side of my trailer has no holes or missing rivets. DOT tape, not cracking or peeling, and runs the full length of the trailer. Reflector, marker lights, and turn signals are all amber in color, not chipped, cracked, or broken, not missing any screws, rivets, rubber seals, whichever is applicable. Sliding tandem release arm. Locking pins are in the locked position. Release arm is secure. Spring mounts, front and back, and U-bolts, not bent, cracked, or broken, no missing nuts and bolts. Leaf spring, not bent, cracked, or broken, properly aligned, and no more than 1/4 of a leaf missing, which would put this truck out of service. Torsion bar, not bent, cracked, or broken, no missing nuts or bolts. Torque mount, not bent, cracked, or broken, and no missing nuts or bolts. Torque arm, not bent, cracked, or broken, and not missing any nuts or bolts. Airbag mounts, top and bottom, not bent, cracked, or broken, and no missing nuts or bolts. Airbags, not cut or cracked, and here no leaks. Shock absorber, not bent, cracked, or broken, no missing nuts or bolts, and see no leaks. Brake hoses, not cut, cracked, dry rot, or bulging, here no leaks. Brake chamber, not bent, cracked, or broken, no missing nuts or bolts, and here no leaks. Slack adjuster and push rod, not bent, cracked, or broken, at a 90-degree angle, and with the brakes off I should not be able to pull it more than 1 inch. Cotter pin is intact. Brake lining, no excessive wear, and see no oil or grease. Brake drums, not cracked or broken, see no oil or grease, and no welds other than factory. Rims, inner and outer, not bent, cracked, or broken, and no welds other than factory. Tires, at proper inflation, check with a pressure gauge. No cuts, cracks, dry rot, or bulging of the sidewalls. No uneven tread wear. Tread depth no less than 2/32 of an inch. Valve cap and stems are not missing, broken, or damaged. Can be recapped, retread, and mismatched. Properly spaced between the tires. Proper space between the tires. And no debris. Lug nuts and studs. No missing lug nuts or studs. No signs of running rust, which would indicate a loose lug. Hub oil seal. No missing nuts or bolts, and fluid is the proper level, and see no leaks. Mud flaps. Not missing or damaged. No missing nuts or bolts. ABS light. Yellow in color. Not chipped, cracked, or broken, and no missing screws. The clearance lights, ID lights, tail lights, and reflectors are all red in color, not chipped, cracked, or broken, and no missing screws, rivets, or rubber seals, whichever is applicable. And mud flaps are present. Trailer doors. No missing nuts, bolts, or hinges. Doors and hinges are not damaged. They open and close and latch properly from the outside. Door handles. Not bent, cracked, or broken, and no missing nuts or bolts. Door ties, straps, chains, and binders, if equipped, are secure and no missing nuts or bolts. Cargo lift, if applicable. Not bent, cracked, or broken, no missing nuts or bolts, see no leaks, and lift is fully retracted and latched securely. DOT bumper, not bent, cracked, or broken, not missing, and DOT tape runs the length of the bumper. I would check the passenger side trailer the same way that I would check the driver's side.